Hey guys, welcome to Josh Plays. My name is Josh, and in this video I'm going to talk about an unmentioned change to Lucio on the current build of the PTR. So he's had the ability to initiate a wall ride backwards, has been enabled essentially. So if we go into a custom game here, yeah, that should be fine. We'll turn it to skirmish. Temple of Anubis should be fine, and let's set ability cooldowns to 0%. Okay, so here we are. Let's go, Lucio.
Come on, let's bring it together. Nothing's gonna stop. Pump up the volume.
Alright, so by default, you have to start a wall ride forwards, right? So you run towards a wall. So let's take this wall here, for instance. You run towards it, you press space on PC to jump, and you hold down the space bar, and that makes you wall ride like this, right? So by default, the ability to start wall rides backwards is switched off, and that means that obviously it will be exactly how it is on live currently. That being said, you can now turn that ability on, and that means you can start a wall ride backwards like this, and you can kind of wall ride round the map backwards, and that allows for, you know, slightly more flashy wall riding, I guess. But it'll also allow for some slightly. It'll also give you more interesting combat options. Let's put it that way. So if we come down here, let's say that you're holding on Temple of Anubis and they make a push through underneath the bridge. Now previously, if you wanted to wall ride out of there, you'd have to turn around, point this way, and wall ride like this. So let's say you wanted to get up here because this is good high ground position to hold from, and you wanted to be up here. Previously you'd have to turn around and look away from the enemy. Now what you can do is, as long as you know where the wall is, you can go backwards and you can keep shooting them. And if you're better, you get up there first time instead of jumping into the edge like I did. But yeah, it just gives you a little bit of extra time that you can keep on shooting, and you can shoot at them as they're coming under the archway, and you can still get that high ground position. Whereas before, you'd have to be pointing away from them, which means, you know, say there's a McCree or a soldier that suddenly starts focusing you. If you're pointing this way, you can't see him. But if you're pointing towards him, you can at least see that they're shooting at you, and that allows you to, you know, maybe suddenly you decide that you want to drop off the wall to avoid getting shot, to make it a little bit more difficult for them to predict your path. So it adds a lot of interesting angles for playing Lucio. Now, Overwatch, as far as I'm aware, they're only doing this as sort of like a test to see how much of a difference it makes to Lucio. Obviously, you know, they're constantly nerfing Lucio. This is, I guess, kind of a buff. It's not really much of one, but it ought to help him out in, you know, a few select situations, let's put it that way. And that should make it a little bit easier for him to disengage from fights. He'll be able to see what's coming at him. Now, it is worth noting that you could wall ride backwards before, you just couldn't initiate a wall ride backwards. So before, you could, let's get into a good position, you could start a wall ride forwards and then turn around, right? But you always had to initiate it facing forwards, which meant that there was a split second where you couldn't turn around. Whereas now you can initiate it backwards, you can always be looking at your enemy, and that means that you know, you're potentially going to be a little bit safer. Now, the way you enable this, probably should have opened the video with that. You go into the pause menu, if you go to options, controls, and in this drop down menu here, select Lucio, and then down here in the hero selection menu, or not the hero selection menu, in the hero menu, you've got this, allow backwards wall ride. So by default this will be off, just turn it on, go out of the menus, and then that enables it. It's as simple as that. And I strongly suggest, if you are a Lucio player, even if you aren't and you just occasionally pick him up, if you haven't got any healers on your team for instance, I would suggest that, you know, if you've got the PTR, just play around with it, see how see how you feel about it, because for me personally, I mean, I do play a lot of Lucio and I do like wall riding, but it seems very intuitive to me. It seems quite easy to do, and quite easy to pick up. It's just about knowing where the walls are, really. If you know where the walls are, then you should be able to pick it up fairly easily. And it means you'll be able to focus on what's going on in the team fight a little bit more and contribute a bit more damage to your team. And it will also means you'll be able to see if your teammates suddenly start taking a lot of damage, you'll be able to switch over to healing, or if they launch an ult, you'll be able to see exactly where it is and be able to switch to speed boost to get out of there. That sort of thing. It's just going to be, it's a little quality of life change, I guess. You could call it that. Anyway, thanks for watching this short video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra.